I'm going to tell two stories today, and in furtherance of our conversations on corporate politics. The first story I'm going to tell is about my kinsman. Now, I used to work for a technology company affiliated with a bank, like you probably already know. And one of the things about that environment was that it was a mix of English and French Africans. It was also a mix of Nigerians and Ghanaians. And among the Ghanaians, it was a mix mostly of Igbos and Yorubas. I just so happened to be Igbo. And on one occasion, I had the opportunity to visit with a senior member of staff. I think he was next in line to be maybe CIO or MD or something, or he was an executive director at that time. He was very highly placed, and he was Igbo. I keep saying was because he has passed on now. Now, when I met him, I was introduced to him by my friend who happened to be Ghanaian. And we got talking, and he realized I was actually Igbo, and I'm from his state. We had another, senior colleague of ours who was also Igbo and from my state, who had been very helpful in my career. And somehow there's that unspoken tribal affiliation or loyalty, even within the context of a corporate setting. Now, there was a question he asked me which I'll never forget. And that question was that I should be coming around, or some of us who are younger Igbo-speaking professionals in the environment, in the EcoBank environment, should be coming around more often so that we get to know each other and so forth. And he mentioned like the Yorubas do it. And that's what caught my attention. And it is true that the Yorubas, I wouldn't say they are tribalistic, they are just tribal in terms of they huddle together, they support each other, and there's that understanding of hierarchy. There's a very strong understanding of hierarchy in the Yoruba culture. I don't know how it's playing out in this generation, but there's that very strong understanding. So if you go anywhere and you're young Yoruba person, and you meet your senior, you go to pay homage. It's almost like going to the king to pay homage. And I think it comes from the fact that the Yoruba culture is very, is a monarchy. The society is a monarchy, so they have the obas and all that. The original Igbo culture, we are not a monarchy. Every man is generally independent, respectful, egalitarian, democratic, but generally we are not necessarily the kind of people that go to pay homage. It's something that is now evolving as we mix cultures. So in essence, he felt that, okay, it makes sense for us to copy that good thing of making sure we're together wherever we are, making sure we are paying respect to those who are highly placed enough to help others, which is good in itself, right? But I didn't grow up having that tilt, having that tendency to say, I want to go, wherever I go, I want to go and find out those who are from my tribe that are senior enough to support me in the organization. Now, if you want to translate that to modern parlance, you probably would call that kind of a person a sponsor. I'll talk about mentorship and sponsorship in the next video. Now, you want to call that person somebody that wants to support your growth. And it's good to have those kinds of people backing you in any organization. Now, the reality is that sometimes that backing becomes a matter of they know you're from their tribe. Maybe they know your father. It can be as serious as that. Maybe they know somebody that has introduced you to them and so forth. The bottom line is that person knows you. And in many cases, the basis of them knowing you is some family affiliation, some tribal affiliation. Now, as a person who is thinking strategically, you may want to take advantage of that. At the same time, don't let it be the only card that you play. Don't say, I'm Yoruba, all the Yorubas must help Yorubas, full stop. You must be, let me use a new word, helpable. That means you must have positioned yourself as someone that they will not regret placing you in a position that that they're backing you on. So what I want to say is, those nuances exist, and you must realize that even when you are input on the outside of that, and let me give you another example to talk about what to buttress what I'm saying. In many cases in that environment, the French-speaking Africans felt they were disadvantaged. Quite a few of them were earning less. They felt that the Nigerians were dominating the environment, even in Ghana, and so forth. That was a perception, and it's a debatable perception. The bottom line is, some people will always feel outside the clique. So assuming I did that camaraderie with my kinsmen who were in high places, and I got a new position. Somebody who is not my kinsman, who is also probably qualified, would argue that the only reason why I got that position was because my tribesman helped me. And you see, you can argue with that, but that's the reality of life. Sometimes somebody else helps you. They now call it a fine name, a sponsor. But the person has to have a reason to help you. They don't know you from Adam, then they realize they are from your place. And they say, this is my contribution to my community, to help those who are from my community. You can argue with it all you want, but the bottom line is that is how the world works in many cases. If the world works that way, you don't want to tarnish your image, you don't want to break your values purely on the basis of, I want my tribesman to help me. But you also don't want to lose out on the benefit you can get by simply aligning with that reality, right? So you need to find where that balance is. How can I be the most high-performing tribal person of this person who is in a position to give me a higher offer, a better position, visibility, and so forth? So you want to think about that. You want to balance that and say, how do I leverage the existing human systems? Tribalism and nepotism are existing human systems. Now, where tribalism crosses the line is where they basically deliberately keep somebody out because they are not from their tribe. But if they are supporting you because you're from your tribe and you can do the job, well and good, well and good. So you need to balance the equation by making sure that you're good enough for the position. At the same time, if there's an opportunity to leverage a relationship that is based on tribe, based on association, based on coming from the same country, based on whatever it is, it makes sense to leverage it. And I saw a LinkedIn post that alluded to this recently, where the Nigerian lady was ranting, so to speak, that the Indians had been doing this in America and in Europe for ages, where they basically put forward their fellow Indians, CVs, put forward their fellow Indians, and give it to them. They are good at what they do in many, many cases. But the point is that a sponsor is often required to showcase your skill. A sponsor is required to showcase your skill. I'll talk more about that in the next video. So if tribalism is a system of the earth that you want to leverage, leverage it with balance. It's a reality. It's a reality that we have to face. Thank you.